everyone. I'm living my best life here in Del Boca Vista. Got myself a stogie.
Uh-huh.
Nice. Got a drink. Let me grab that real quick.
Yeah, I got one too. What kind of drink you got? Do we open our cans at the same time? Do we do a little like?
I don't have a can. I just got some Tito's and soda that I mixed together. Bloody Mary was earlier in the day.
Okay, lovely. I got a little Drake's Gold Rush, so I'll do a little John Lund special here.
Nice. So we're living our best lives, but I think we all can agree that no one's living their best life as much as Klay Thompson right now.
What do you mean?
Have you seen the pictures
Seems to be doing great.
with Megan Thee Stallion?
Yeah, fantastic.
Dude, I know we all kind of feel a little bit sad for Klay, maybe. Goes to Dallas. Luka
No.
gets traded.
No, I've never felt sad for him.
Well, hold on. Rocco passed away. That was unfortunate.
That was sad. Okay, I'll give you that.
But now I think we all are okay now with whatever goes on with Klay Thompson now that he's with Megan Thee Stallion. He's probably very happy.
I'd say so. I'd say it's a nice little consolation prize for moving out to Dallas.
I'd say so. Let me know if my connection's shitty right now because I'm getting the low thing, but all good right now?
It's all good. It's all
Wonderful.
good. And Derek, I know we're kind of coming on as almost like a post-game baseball show here, but I hope we don't get mixed up with Foul Territory TV because apparently I look like AJ Przinsky with a backwards hat on.
I would say a little bit. I would say you kind of look a little bit like AJ.
Yeah, it's great.
Probably the most hated giant in recent memory, if I'm not mistaken.
One of them. The two, I'd say the two foremost lookalikes that I get, for lack of a better term. I still in 2025, I get JD Vance a lot. I get that, and I get AJ.
That's
Przinsky.
rough.
So two guys who have their hair combed over, who have a beard and have a round face. It's tremendous stuff.
Do you still get AJ or at AJ? Do you still get Aiden Hutchinson?
I do get Aiden Hutchinson from time to time, but I've gained a little bit of weight, so that's going off now. That's they've moved off the Aiden comps.
Yeah, I mean JD Vance and AJ Przinsky. I mean initial names, but not guys I don't think you want to look like or be compared to these days.
No, it's not. It's not fun. Not fun to walk into the studio and just say, "What's going on, AJ? What's going on, JD?"
Yeah. Just your opinion, man. Stephen Langford, Derek Papa, we're coming to you after the Giants lose to the Dodgers 2-1. But they won last night, right, Stephen? 8-7. I'm going to be completely honest. I'm currently at my mom's in Boca Raton, Florida, so I haven't been watching intently. And, I'm on vacation, so I don't want to because I talk Giants all the time anyway on KNBR. But we have some people in the chat. We got 415, the Rage Leader. That might be Jack Loader, making fun of 405, 805 Rage that calls in all the time. We have a caller, Steven, KNBR, that just calls in all the time nonstop. Not to the shows. We have the wine line, similar to what was the thing back in the day with Joe Low and Dibs?
The beef line.
The beef line. This guy calls in just during Giants games and just bitches about the game and says, Matt Chapman sucks. Bob Melvin doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. I've seen better pieces of dog shit than this Giants team. I'm not even like being hyperbolic. That's what he says. And these are like during wins too. So that guy will call all the time. And I think like Jack Loader is similar to that guy. So maybe that's him right now. 415, the Rage Leader. We also got Pat H in the chat and Lauren F. Lauren F, who is a fan of me and Dirty Work, and she came over to watch our chat. Thank you, Lauren.
Fan of me?
She's taking a liking to me.
Okay. Okay.
Not even exaggerating.
Yeah, it's just like me? Okay.
Yeah.
A little cocky.
I'm not trying to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
But were you at the game last night?
No, I was at home.
Oh, you're going tomorrow. That's why we moved this up a day. Steven's going tomorrow with Jesse, and they're having a nice dinner afterwards. So we moved it up a day in advance.
Potentially. Potentially. I don't want to just say like, hey, I got a podcast going on, so I can't do dinner because we are going with friends. So doing that. But yeah, didn't go last night. Ended up watching it on TV. And yet again, looks like Dodgers fans took over Oracle, which stunk. but at least it wasn't like the previous years where it felt like the Dodgers just completely overwhelmed the Giants. And I'm not saying that today they didn't, because the Dodgers looked like the better team, but at least these past 2 games were competitive. And I know that's a low expectation line, but that's as much as I could ask for. Yesterday probably shouldn't have been competitive. They just took a big lead and then gave it right back because Bob Melvin might have let Logan Webb in too long. I don't know. And on that, I'm kind of going back and forth, but on that, like, yeah, he might have left him in for too long, but this is Logan Webb we're talking about. This is the guy who has led baseball in innings pitched these last 2 years. He can handle the workload. And I like it when the manager leaves a pitcher in like that. At times it was like, oof, this might be a little self-destructive, especially when he, after he gave up that 2-run homer. But you know what? They managed to escape with the win anyway. I like how they were competitive these last 2 games. Even though they only had 1 hit going into the 8th inning, they hung right with them.
Yeah, I mean, I watched the highlights from yesterday's game. It seemed like Jung-Hoo Lee, correct me if I'm wrong, had a little bit of a rough time in center field last night, but it was a lot of, the Dodgers just have power hitters, so it was going over his head.
Yep.
And yeah, it seemed like, 8-2 lead, and then things kind of unraveled. And then they almost gave it up with Camilo Doval in the 9th. But a win is a win. You'll take it. You almost knocked something over there.
Yeah, I almost knocked down the Tim Brown signed football over. That was was close.
That would have been bad. You got a signed football from Tim Brown?
Yeah, a little inside secret behind the curtain. It's not mine.
Oh, whose is it then? You steal it?
It's Jesse's mom's.
Oh, nice. Okay.
She gave it to me specifically for this reason.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's always good to have, memorabilia and, bobbleheads. And a big old cardboard cutout head of a cat like PTI.
Quite frankly, do you want to know dirty little secret?
Sure. I'm always down for dirty little secrets, Steven.
None of this is really mine.
So you just steal shit to make it seem like you have a good background.
No, it's a lot of it's Jesse's.
Okay.
There's something on the top. I got another shelf up there, which that stuff is mine. I got like baseballs with Giants legends on it. It's got like McCovey, Mays, Maricel.
The stuff that we can't see in frame.
Cepeda, yeah. This stuff up there.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, I see it now.
Yeah, the baseballs are mine. The empty Anchor can is mine because Anchor Brewing was closing, so I felt like that was really sentimental. I mean, this is from our wedding, and I guess the hot sauces are mine too. But all the actual sports stuff is not.
Well, dude, at the end of the day, you got more shit than me because all that I have in my background when I'm home is just the Big Lebowski thing, and I recently just acquired that.
I am so glad it's the Big Lebowski thing.
As opposed to what you thought it was originally.
Yeah.
If people don't remember, Steven thought I hung a wall of the guy that has his penis hanging out.
Yeah. The guy who's just sitting down, big PP.
Yeah. That's the very adult way to say it. Nevertheless, Giants, they split the series, so tomorrow will be the deciding game right before the All-Star break.
Yeah.
And Robbie Ray's going, right? So he's not going to pitch in the All-Star game at all.
Correct.
Now, there was talk about maybe Tyler Rogers being able to sneak in, but I don't think that's going to happen, huh?
No, probably not. I don't know. Pitchers are always tough because there's no guarantee they're going to get in the first place. I mean, they only have 12 of them to choose from, and you only have 9 innings to work with, unless they happen to make any pitching changes in the middle of the inning. So really, you have to hope that the rest of the National League pitchers struggle, because if they don't, they're probably just going to go 1 inning apiece. Right. Maybe one guy will go like a third of an inning if he stinks, but I don't know. It feels like in the All-Star game, pitching gets the better of hitting. Like, I know it's good offense beats good defense, but kind of feels like the pitching gets the better of the offense, and there's a lot of strikeouts through these All-Star games. I don't know. Either way, probably not. I hope Randy Rodriguez, though. I hope we see him. I think that would be kind of like a welcome party for him. I have a feel like a lot of Major League Baseball hasn't heard of him and really knows like just how good he is as a younger player.
Well, he got the majority of the when it comes to relievers, he got not all of, but he got a good deal of votes from the players.
Yeah.
So I feel like maybe fans don't know who he is, but certainly the players know who he is.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, dude. He has like this, he reminds me a little bit, maybe it's just because of the last name, but he reminds me of K-Rod. He reminds me of Fernando Rodriguez, and I don't know if
Yeah.
it's just like the windup. I don't know if it's like the style. I don't know if it's just the last name. I hope they could turn him into a closer at one point, but Camilo's just pitching bend but don't break, I guess.
Yeah.
And he did that he did that last night. You didn't really see him today, but I hope Rodriguez gets a closer role, but they got him as the setup man and Davilo as the closer. It's working out, whatever. We're kind of all over the place right now. There's not much to nitpick from these last two games. Giants offense woke up, then it stunk today. Like, that's the ultimate reason why they lost.
Yeah, I mean, like, what did they finish with? Only like a few hits, maybe 4 tops.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a rough game offensively for the Giants. And then last night, the bullpen kind of, Webb and the bullpen kind of let it slip away, but they end up with a win. But yeah, we'll see what happens tomorrow. And either way, I mean, the Dodgers have lost 7 in a row before today.
Mhm.
So 7 of their last 8. So things are looking good. What are they, like 4 games or 5 games out of first place in the division?
4.5.
4.5. I ultimately don't think they'll end up with it, but that's pretty good. Like, for what the Dodgers did this offseason, what they do every offseason, how many stars they have, man, how many Giants fans thought this was the same old team, and it's not. Things are definitely changing. I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if they go out and get another arm. I threw out Luis Severino, but he's not pitching particularly great right now, so I don't know why you would do that. I know some fans are down on Justin Verlander, but if you really look at it, he's not pitching that terrible. It's just the offense doesn't help him out.
Dude, Verlander has not been bad. Like, I am going to die on that hill because I was there at Wednesday's game, and it feels like, and everyone's talking about this in the press box, at least the people who talk, the people who actually are on the beat and have a job to do. They don't do a lot of talking. It's very focused on the laptop.
Let me guess, Jack Loader's the one that's talking the most because he's a fan and he has to let everybody know that he's a fan.
No, believe it or not. He's a lovely individual, Derek. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, he's not. Do not fall for his charm, Steven. God.
Don't fall for his charm.
He's a snake.
Yeah?
Yes.
Wow, Loader the snake.
Yes.
He's the only guy who's come up to me and said, "Hey, I listen to your podcast. I enjoy it."
That's a lie. That's a goddamn lie. He's never listened.
Jack Leiter. Sorry, that was bad. But we were talking.
Speaking of lighter.
And it's nice. We were talking, and it's like, there's always a defensive blunder. There's always something that happens when Verlander's on the mound, whether it's just a straight up error or maybe a fielder's choice, which should have been a double play. There's just little things where Verlander just seems to have this one bad inning where it just things kind of crumble. And I think that happened again on Wednesday. And it's like, he made these tweaks, though. He talked about how he made these mechanical tweaks to his windup, and he implemented them for the first time that Wednesday afternoon. And I don't know, man. It's hard to say they need to get rid of a future Hall of Fame pitcher when he's topping 97 miles an hour with his fastball, and his curveball was working great as the strikeout pitch that it usually is. He ends up striking 7 and only giving up 2 earned runs. So I'm not totally out on Verlander, and I think this is a perfect example as to why pitcher wins have just been devalued over the last few years. It's just a total team. It's a total team stat, especially with all the pitching movement that's done in the middle of games. It's not so much done with the Giants, but to qualify, obviously, you have to get 5 innings. So, you have seen wins kind of just become way less meaningful than it used to be.
No, I agree. I mean, I think people look at the stat that he's 0-7 on the season, so they go crazy. And, he's not Logan Webb. He's not Robbie Ray. He's not going to have these unbelievable gems. But, he's pitching pretty well. It's just he's not getting the, the offense to help him out there. So
26 runs of support in, I think, 16 starts now. 26. Yeah. That's just insane.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes. I mean, I don't think that they have a lot of options. Me and Copes have been talking about it, and I don't think they have a lot of depth after the trade where they traded away Kyle Harrison and I forgot the guy's name already, Jordan Hicks, going to Boston. If they had more pitching like that, then you can probably, fiddle around with that. But right now they have who they have, and you can maybe bring up Carson Wisenhunt, but is that a better option at this point?
Jeff Passan had an article, I'm sure you saw it, where he basically had the best options for each team or each of the top 16 teams in the league and what they should do at the deadline.
Yeah.
And his suggestion was trading for Merrill Kelly, starting pitcher of the
Giants.
Yeah, starting pitcher on the Diamondbacks, and I immediately thought of you.
That's not happening.
Yeah, see, exactly. I immediately thought of you because you're not going to trade within the division. What are you doing? You can't do that.
I'm sorry.
You can't make an intra-division trade. What are you
I'm sorry.
doing?
I'm sorry. I know that's more of a thing in football that you wouldn't do that, but you wouldn't do that in baseball either. Come on, the D-backs. Well, the D-backs are trying to fight for a wild card spot too, aren't they?
Jeff, what are you thinking, Jeff? You wouldn't do that.
Okay, and also, it's Jeff Passan, right? I'm kind of getting tired of some people calling him Jeff Passan. Have you heard this?
No.
Some people are calling him Jeff Passan. I'm like, we're all saying it right? It's Passan.
He hasn't corrected anybody. I'm assuming it's Passan.
I'm assuming a lot of people that are not well versed in baseball, and I'm not saying I am, but I know how to pronounce the man's name. It's Passan.
Yeah. Well, it's just funny because he probably had to come up with some article like that, a trade deadline piece. It's just like, who's going to go where? All right, well, I'm kind of set every starting pitcher is going to go everywhere else. Guess I'll just put Merrill Kelly for the Giants and then hope that one sticks.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
It was very half-assed.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And as Tacky says here, if it's baseball, it's Derek. Damn right it is. What up, Rock a New Era? And thanks to Rock a New Era for giving me the humidor for my birthday, where now I'm able to make these stogies a little less dry. So thank you for that, Rockin'. Just a heads up to Lauren. This whole podcast is not going to be on baseball, so I apologize. We're going to talk a little bit about Netflix and the quarterback show, along with some things going on in football and some Warrior stuff. But before we transition to that, what'd you make of the whole Will Clark thing? Because I thought that was nonsense. I know that Will had some fun with Eric Burns on their podcast, No Filter Network, or whatever the podcast is called. That's the podcast network. But the whole thing was Will Fleming, Dave Fleming's brother, went on WEEI in Boston, and let me know if I'm breaking up here, Steven. I know I'm getting like a little low signal here. All good?
No, you're good.
Okay. Will Fleming went on to talk about Rafael Devers, and it's interesting. Will Fleming calling games for the Boston Red Sox and being fluent in Spanish, actually, and being able to communicate with Rafael Devers. He can give the inside scoop to his brother Dave. But he was on their morning radio show in Boston saying that they don't know who this guy is. They really haven't got to really know Rafi Devers. And, he said the second day that he's there, he's blowing off Will Clark, which was not the case. It was that weekend when they played the Boston Red Sox. And basically he's saying like they're going to realize that Rafael Devers is a pain in the ass. And Will Clark definitely validated the story, saying that, that happened. But he also understood because Rafael Devers just had the whole controversy with playing first base or not playing first base in Boston. Mm-hmm. And then he didn't want to right away play first base and show everybody up with Boston by taking grounders and doing all that practice with Will Clark. So he didn't blow him off. He just didn't show up. And Will Clark understood that, but he also ended it in his Will Clark humor by saying, next time I'm out there, you better be out there, Rafi, if I have to grab you by your fucking neck. And then Will Clark was talking about it again with Eric Burns and basically said, this whole thing's blown out of proportion, called out Will Fleming and said, this is not that big of a deal and we need to just let it go. He went on KNBR with Murphy Marcus yesterday. So I say it's not that big of a deal. Some people, old school Giants fans, like, you don't blow off Will Clark. And this guy's having a shitty season since we acquired him. Who does he think he is? I'm saying it's not that big of a deal until you hear Rafael Devers is being an asshole to Bob Melvin or Buster Posey, then it's no issue. And he does need to play better, but I don't think everybody needs to be up in arms about this.
Well, it was Will Fleming who stirred it, though.
He definitely did. He definitely did. And I wonder, sorry to cut you off. I do wonder, not that like I wouldn't want to have to answer for whatever my dad says, but I do wonder how Dave feels. And he does the talk back with us. I definitely don't want to ask him questions about that because that just feels awkward. But I wonder how Dave feels about this, where it's like, oh, I'm caught in the middle here. Like, I love my brother, but I work for the Giants.
I'm sure he messaged his brother and said, like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, this is giving the totally, but it's Boston, man. It's what Will Clark kind of said in his piece. It's like, I mean, well, I'm paraphrasing here. I'm not saying as eloquently as he is, where, the East Coast fucking reporter, even though he's a play-by-play guy, which was hilarious. But I think he was just trying to stir something up. I think Red Sox fans just don't like Devers, and Will Fleming is a Red Sox guy. And I don't know. I think if we know anything with Dave too, like he's a Giants guy through and through. He's going to defend his team. So if you find something like that and you have a little information, I guess you want to give it. Is it unfair to Devers? Absolutely. But I think it's also unfair for us to just put him in the category of the not try hard guy or the not committed guy. And who's to say like Devers just might not know who Will Clark is?
That's fair.
Like, I mean, sure, Giants fans know who he is, but like, who's this guy? Like, I just got here. Why do I have to work out with it? Okay, so he played first base for the Giants. Great. But I got to work out with him now when I'm dealing with an injury and it's in front of my dugout, like Will Clark said, which he kind of reasoned with him for it. Like, I don't know. That's just the classic case of fans trying to find something to be pissed about, right? Especially since he's not playing well. And I think our guy Evan put it perfectly. Like, if he wasn't batting in the 240s, none of this would matter. None of this would matter at all. And me, like, you asked what I thought of it. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of dropping here, but anytime I've gone to like a day game with the credential, Devers is normally working out at first. Like every time. I get there at about, if it's an afternoon game, I'm there at probably like 10:45, 10:30, 10:45, and that's when they're doing a lot of just like the individual infield work. More often than not, I saw Devers out there. So when I heard that he didn't join Will Clark, well, I was like, okay, that's one night. He's been out there quite a bit as far as I've seen. So I don't know. I got no gripe with it. Like, it's just drama, dude. It's just all fabricated drama and just trying to find anything to be mad about.
Yep. I mean, if you have a legit gripe about how the team is playing or how Jung-Hoo Lee's not performing or how Rafael Devers is not performing as well, then you can sound off on that. But the calls that we got about, this guy's disrespectful, he's Will Clark, who are you? There's a cultural barrier as well. Like, he may not know who Will Clark is. I'm sure he grew up liking guys like David Ortiz and Manny Ramirez. He doesn't know who Will Clark is. Maybe he does. And we're not, giving him the benefit of the doubt there. But who cares? I don't think it's that big of a deal until Rafael Devers has a time where he's actually being an asshole. Then I think everybody needs to calm down.
Yeah.
All right. So, we'll see where the Giants go after the All-Star break. Go for it.
Speaking of guys who may have come off as assholes to the media during their playing days, I just got to say, I'm loving this little Barry Bonds reunion tour where they're finally giving him his flowers. I'm just saying, like, that YouTube video, 25 minutes of him just breaking down his significant milestone home runs in his career. I loved it. Loved every minute of it.
Yeah. I don't think it's enough to get him to the Hall of Fame, though, at this point. I think people just have their vendetta against him.
Who said anything about the Hall of Fame, Derek? I just enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I also loved Kuiper's lean. He had like a sick lean that he had, not the actual lean, not like codeine, but like I'm talking, he had this lean on the chair. And
did you say like Cody?
Like codeine. I'm like, I'm not talking lean. I'm talking like a literal lean in the chair.
I got you.
And he's just watching all the highlights unfold. Brings back all the memes.
Now, did you see today when him and Dave Roberts were hanging out in the dugout?
Yeah, man.
And they're former teammates, but how do Giants fans feel about that? He's getting chummy with the enemy.
It's former teammates, though.
I know. I will say I cannot stand the older baseball caller that calls into our show that's like, Willie Adames is playing like shit. He's on second base talking up to the opponent. Like, what the hell's going on here? Back in my day, you didn't have a good relationship with the opposition. I'm like, yeah, but it's not your day. Who gives a fuck? All right? Yeah. He's a nice guy. You know what? He's hitting now. He's getting a lot of RBIs. Shut up. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Back in my day.
These people that call in, they're like, God.
the back of my day, the we never used to do this guy, even though they played
Exactly.
like D3 college baseball at their highest level. You stop taking yourself so seriously.
Seriously, like you all call in and shit on Dave McCaskill. You're kind of like him. You're like, I played a little ball back in the day. Yeah, so did he. Like you sound like him, guys. All right.
I love how you sometimes use this podcast as like a venting session for certain people on your own station.
Yes, basically. Like this is where I could actually be myself and not be muzzled. Where I could just say, sometimes Giants fans annoy me.
You could be yourself.
Not anybody in the chat, by the way.
You could be yourself. You just they're your listeners, so you can't just insult them.
I'm not going to alienate anybody, but there's sometimes where I want to. All right, I'm kidding. All right, let's talk about the Netflix quarterback show, the second season, really the third season in the whole like way that Netflix does these in-depth documentaries on position groups. So last year was receiver, where they did like Devontae Adams and Amon-Ra St. Brown, George Kittle, Deebo Samuel. And then 2 years ago, they did the quarterback show with with Coop and his Bonfires, Kirk Cousins, Mahomes, and Marcus Mariota. He was the most forgettable out of the bunch. This year, it was Joe Burrow, it was Jared Goff, and it was Kirk Cousins. And I watched the first 3 episodes on my flight, my red eye over here. Then I knocked him out the last 2 nights, and I like this season a lot. We could go through each guy, but just your overall thoughts, Steven, on the series this season.
I made it through in like 2 days. That should tell you all you need to know. And how do I do it? I'm watching it every waking moment that I possibly have. I'm watching on the way to work. I'm watching on the way home from work. I'm watching while I'm cooking. I'm watching while I'm eating lunch. Like I'm literally at all times, just because I couldn't take my eyes off it. I just think it's so well done. I'm sure people have their gripes with how documentaries go, but I think chronologically being able to tell the full story, except they did leave a little something out with Kirk, which I will get to when we talk about Kirk, but
okay.
Not telling the full story, not painting the whole picture, but usually they do. And the highlights, the insight, and just listening to these guys talk. They don't do a ton of victim blaming, but one thing, or whatever you call it, woe is me, I don't even know. But one thing I do love about it is like everything that we talk about on the podcast that doesn't have anything to do with what's on the field, anything we talk about that's off the field, they basically just say, yeah, it's bullshit. Yeah, it's media driven. Yep. All the narratives that are created, it's all driven by the media. And it's just, you're listening to, these foremost voices that we listen to, that we hear. And it's literally just Pat McAfee, Kyle Brandt, and sometimes Peter Schrager. Like, it's not from Dan Orlovsky or Mina Kimes, people who actually break down football and go over tape. It's just the ESPN folks. Not a lot of Stephen A. on. I mean, there's a bit of Stephen A. on there. Colin Cowherd, obviously. But media who just mostly uses narratives as their talking points as opposed to what's going on the field.
Yeah, I do wonder if Brock is on this upcoming season, if they'll ever use, I don't want to sound arrogant here, but like if they'll use me, like if I break him down in a game or something, I'm like, let's take it out of context. They use Copes without asking him for the receiver show, and he gets all butthurt about that. But
what?
They use Copes. They use Copes in the receiver show when talking about Deebo and Kittle without telling him.
Oh, I should tell him. I get that.
Yeah,
but it's not like he's going to get any royalties out of it, right?
No, I know. Like the same thing with he gets all butthurt about they didn't ask him for his voice in the Steph Curry documentary, the one that came out on Apple TV with it focused on Davidson. I forget the name of it. Yeah, I mean they block all that shit out. And by the way, Tacky's calling me out here. Derek's pronunciation of Amon-Ra St. Brown after writing people for mispronouncing pass in his all time. That's how you pronounce his name, right? Amon-Ra?
It's either Amon-Ra or Amon-Ra. I think it's Amon-Ra.
I say Amon-Ra, but I've heard him say Amon-Ra. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, let me know. And AJ Cruz is trying to get my attention here. I went to Buc-ee's for the first time. Those chopped brisket sandwiches are the truth. Yes, they are. Buc-ee's is a good spot if you're in the South. Like way more than just a gas station. Great place, good
Way
food.
more than a gas station.
Oh yeah.
Way more. It goes beyond the gas station.
So that's what AJ Cruz, he tweeted at me earlier saying, let's see if Derek Papa's here. And there was no picture. So I'm like, what are you doing here, AJ? All right, back to the show. I enjoyed it a lot. The parts that I really enjoyed were the moments at the beginning of the episodes where they go into like the intricacies of the game, like a lot of the film study. Like I want to know more of that, like what they see before a play. So when they start an episode out with like what happens when you look at a defense and you look at the safeties, are they playing 2 high, 3 high, single high, or like when it's the clock is running down and all the things that are going through your mind of the play call, your cadence, the shifts, all that stuff. And then like when they talk about all the media noise, when they go through a week of preparation and they're trying not to listen to social media or what people say on SportsCenter or ESPN or all that shit. That's stuff that I am interested in. Everything else is very interesting, but all of it is basically like the man version of Desperate Housewives, not Desperate Housewives, like Housewives of whatever. Like it's very soap opera-y or like, reality showy where you see their lives and what they deal with, but they're all interesting guys. I will say, just to go through each guy, Joe Burrow is interesting where I think like now we have so much of a sample of his voice where I think more people are going to like impersonate him. Like I wouldn't be surprised if Joey Molinaro or Frank Caliendo, whoever, like these guys that usually do sports impersonations, do one of him because he's so weird. Like in order to be a really good quarterback, I think you have to be a psychopath. And I really got that vibe from Joe Burrow where he doesn't look like he does much outside of his social or out of his work life. He doesn't have much of a social life from what it looked like. Although it could just be like he's a very, personal guy, doesn't want people to know what he does. Besides, like I think he got a little closed off after the robbery that happened in his house. Yeah. So you don't see him like with a girlfriend or anything like that. His parents come over all the time. He can't do his own laundry, even though he said he could, but just doesn't want to.
Yeah.
He does kind of seem Macaulay Culkin-ish like, even though he looks like him, his voice and his, demeanor a little bit kind of reminds me of him a little bit. But yeah, I just like the fact that he's so focused on football. The favorite part is him during the Tennessee game, where earlier in the season, he's like, I'm not the type of guy that's going to call out anybody else when they're not playing well. I'm not going to call out the offensive line because if someone did that to me, I wouldn't appreciate that. But then he had enough. Like after the 8th false start, he's like, what the fuck are we doing? And then Zach Taylor's like, hey, good game. I know it was kind of rough at the end there. And he's like, fuck that. Fuck that. We played fucking terrible today. He's like, yeah, I know we won, but you can calm down. He's like, I'm not going to fucking calm down. I like that a lot. It just shows that he's a perfectionist. And yeah, I mean, I like that he's so focused on football and he just seems kind of a weird dude, fashionista. Like he had the dude, his personal dresser come over and he's like very forward. Like, I'm not going to wear that shit. I'll wear that. So it's funny how like, focused he is on football, but yet he cares a lot about his look and, way he goes to games and whatnot. But yeah, just a weird guy, but you know what? Out of the bunch, he's the best quarterback in my opinion.
He has the quintessential quarterback kind of superstar vibe to him where he's really cool. Like they call him Joe Cool for example. He always, I don't know, this is just being mean. He always looks like he's getting over a cold. Like right at the end of a cold, not in the middle of one, just right at the end. Yeah. I just think dinosaur bones are sick. I just think that's something they found like millions of years ago that still exists today. That's really cool.
Yeah.
And like but he also seems he's very eclectic, and I don't know. I remembered like seeing that he used to be like a huge Star Wars kind of nerd, and he used to have stuff all over his wall when he was living with his parents, and I kind of knew that he was a different type of cat, but he has like that superstar vibe, but he doesn't want to be almost. It's like he has, obviously you mentioned the clothes. He goes to Paris, but he like for the fashion week or whatever, he obviously has the game day fits, but it doesn't seem like he wants like all that to be in the public eye. Like
Yeah.
it seems like he just wants to go to work and come home, and he just has his interests, even though you'd think that's what he wants. But I think that's just who he is. Like, I just think he likes fashion because that's what his mom kind of had him growing up doing. And he loves football because his dad was a former football coach at, I think, the University of Ohio or Ohio University. So I don't know. He's a very interesting dude. He seems kind of bored. Like, he started to see, just sounded bored halfway through whatever he was talking about himself. It doesn't sound like he likes enjoys doing that. And you know, it's funny, like you mentioned the Detroit Lions stuff. I think the Bengals, it seemed like their offense is predicated on, okay, we're just going to have our star quarterback throw to our star wide receiver. It's going to be Burrow and Chase. No mention of Chase Brown. No mention of Zach Moss. I loved the little segment where they're talking to the offensive line and they're asking Ted Karras about the Panama Canal and what it means. I thought that was terrific. There's not a lot about that. Whereas the Lions, it's just all about their offensive design, all about their play design and tricks. Like, it's getting shared around now. But that clip where that segment where they're talking about
the fumble,
whatever. Yeah.
Stumble
Bumblebee or whatever it's called.
Whatever
play that is where they fake it. And Ben Johnson's like, I want you to fumble. And Jared Goff's like, I'm not going to fumble. I can't fumble. I can't just fake a fumble. Like, okay, well, can you fall? I could fall. I could do that. I think as far as like the individual side, I really thought Joe Burrows was a little more interesting, a little more inside who he was. He didn't really learn much about Goff. Like, they didn't talk about his upbringing in the Bay Area, like, at all.
Yeah.
He showed a little bit at Cal, but as far as him going to like Moreau Catholic and, you know, maybe having like friends from the Bay come and visit him and those things, like, they didn't really go over that too much. And that was a little disappointing. It felt like that was more about the Lions and their leader rather than Jared Goff himself.
Yeah. I focused a little bit more on him being disrespected from the trade of the Rams to the Lions, where he basically called out McVay, even though he seemed uncomfortable saying it. He was like, I wish they showed a little more maturity.
Yeah.
And that was interesting. That's about as personal as it got. There was a lot of clips of him and his girlfriend or wife now, where they're going to have a baby. Yeah, I think they wanted to focus on that. I will say, between the three, I think I related to Jared Goff the most just because he seems like a chill and normal dude. Joe Burrow seems like the type of guy that you really don't know what he's about. And at the same time, like, he seems laid back, but then, like, when he's walking around with that shirt, or no shirt, I guess, like, he had that zipper vest on after they beat the Broncos, and all his friends are like, dude, you wearing a shirt after that? Or shirt underneath that? And he's like, no. And they're like, laughing at him. He's like, what's the big deal? And they're like, it's almost like if you say the wrong thing to him, he'll like look at you and be like, bro, we're just joking. Like, calm the fuck down. He seems like he seems like a laid back guy, but also like he could take things personal. Where Jared Goff's like, yeah, all right, babe, you need me to hang the Christmas ornaments up? Cool, I'll do that. He just seems very laid back. So I don't really have a lot to say about Jared Goff.
You didn't relate to Kirk?
Kirk I'll get to, because we've seen Kirk already in this show, but this one was even more telling in my opinion. Jared just seems like, just like a laid-back dude, and the only thing I could say about him, like, when I watch this show, is he is definitely a better quarterback than what he was with the Rams. I think he has a little bit more freedom. But then again, like, Ben Johnson really helped him a lot, and he had a lot of weapons with the Rams, but definitely more weapons with the Lions. And now that he's got Johnny Morton now as his offensive coordinator, who was there with the Lions back in the day when I think it was Ben Johnson's first year as OC, it's going to be different. And he may have to hold his hand a little bit more. But yeah, Jared Goff's the type of quarterback that could go 18 for 18 against the Seattle Seahawks and be perfect. Or he can be just, combustible and throw 5 interceptions in a game against the Texans, or have that performance against the Commanders in the playoffs. So
talk about but dude, how about the development though? Like, back in the Rams, there was a story that went out about how Sean McVay is calling plays until you turn the microphones off in the helmet when there's like 12 seconds left on the play clock. And now you got Goff with his new team who can read the mind of the guy who's considered the best offensive play caller in football. When I forgot what the play was, he just called it right at the end though. He's like, please be that. Please be that. I know we got it open. It's like where they had I think they had like Laporta running like the Texas route or whatever it was. And he's like, please just give me that play. We got it wide open. And then Ben Johnson ends up giving him the play call, and he didn't even know. Like, they were just that in sync. Yeah, they're going to miss that with the Lions offense this year. And I think that gives you a little insight into, say, what Kyle Shanahan was waiting for in a quarterback, probably a guy who can read his mind a little bit. You need to be you got to be so in tune with your offensive coordinator. We don't give enough credit to that.
No, we don't.
Quarterback offensive coordinator relationship and just how in sync you have to be on every single play.
No, definitely. And that's why I think that he might struggle a little bit this year. I think the Lions also losing Aaron Glenn and replacing him with Kelvin Shepard, I believe, is the new defensive coordinator for the Lions. But yeah, I think that it's going to be kind of an adjustment season. They still can make the playoffs, but I don't know how they're going to be. I doubt they'll be like a 15-2 team like they were just a season ago.
I felt like last season was their year. It's like,
I know.
I'm saying we're different. We're different. This group is different.
Yeah, but you saw, like, I love the way Dan Campbell, even though he's not like, he's equal parts meathead, leader of men, and cerebral coach in some ways. But, like, I love the fact that he was honest that 1 week where they were playing the Packers, and he was like, guys, it's just simple. We are decimated with injuries right now, so we're going to put it all on the offense this week. We're going to go for it on fourth down every fucking time.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I cannot rely on a bunch of practice squad guys or guys that were just called up this week to save the game for us. So we're going to go for it. So he's real. Yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I come away thinking that Jared Goff's really more mature himself. It's funny I say that when he called out McVay for not being mature. Yeah, I think that he's a pretty good leader for the Lions and everybody cheering his name and the Lions crowd now. So yeah, his perspective and his story in this thing was interesting. You saw him and his wife and his family. But, yeah, then there's Kirk Cousins. Not as many bonfires with Coop in this one.
There was one.
At the very end.
The very end, dude. I got psyched.
more like, like touch football in the bonus room with the kids.
Mm-hmm.
But this one was really focused on Kirk's love for music. The guy loves tunes. And they did this multiple times where he talks about a song, whether it's Tom Petty's I Won't Back Down or Celine Dion, I Drove All Night, or even like
Walk Into Your Trap, Take Over Your Trap.
Yep, that one. Or what was the first one he's talking about where it's like the Frosty the Snowman special and he's like, put one foot in front of the other, and then immediately goes to a montage of him playing quarterback with that song. That's good producing from NFL Films and Omaha Productions. But the man loves music. Good Lord. Like him and his buddies after a win, driving home, belting out some Cher. Do You Believe in Life After Love? Which is a great song. But I got to say, the man is fucking 12 years old. Like, great clips. Obviously, I don't go to great clips anymore. I did once upon a time when I was like 10. You could probably go to a good Atlanta barbershop. But he loves himself some great clips all around the globe. And the Roy Rogers killed me. Like, I know that was in the trailer, but he and his buddies hanging out, having not beers, having Roy Rogers as 30-year-old men. And Kirk's like initially like, oh, no, dude, it's the playing season. I can't get into that stuff right now. And then he has a win against the Cowboys. He's like, you know what? This is a very, very well-deserved Roy Rogers. And it's like, God, those guys must be the life of parties back in the day.
I mean, it's just they go 1 week a year. His brother and a couple of former high school teammates. They go 1 week a year. They do some weird dress-up theme. And then they celebrate with a little Roy Rogers afterwards.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, that's good that he has that support, but, like, Jesus Christ. And then his wife dresses him all the time. So, yeah, he's just he's a fucking, like.
He's the average dude. What do you mean?
No, he's not the average dude. He's just, like, he's kind of a goober. Like, he plays quarterback. he's very Drew Brees in that way. He's just a dad. Like I will say, like he kind of reminded me, and I know John Curley's going to hate this. Kind of reminds me of John Curley a little bit, but at the same time, John Curley curses, and Kirk does not curse. It's
Yeah,
some
and also Curly's like synonymous with Bud Light.
I know he loves to. Yes, Curly loves to drink.
That's an
And
insult, man. What are you talking about? He's nothing like Curly.
yeah, just in a way where he's just kind of like
You mean where you feel like there's a little bit of rage bubbling up inside of him, and he's just kind of masking it with his, well, I'm gonna lean on God because this is God's plan, but in reality, he wants to just yell the F word and drink a bunch of booze and, and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like what I'm saying is like Curly loves to do like the old fashioned like, this is like I think Curly in time wants to be like a suburban dad. That's the way I see Curly being with his children. But Curly also, he'll have a beer. He'll have not a beer. He'll have plenty. He'll have 32 beers in one night with me and one sitting at Old Ship.
He'll have a nice case. Yeah.
Yes, and he'll throw some fuck bombs and he'll say shit. Unlike Kirk, who definitely you can feel the emotion when he's getting benched.
I don't see the similarities. I got to be honest. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't see the similarities at all.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like an old fashioned suburban dude.
I don't know. I don't.
Curly's probably gonna hate that. He'll probably call me when I'm on vacation, like, my man, what are you doing?
Yeah. Curly's one of one, man.
I know he is. He's
singular. There's no one like John Curly.
I know there's not. But I'm just saying, like, if I can envision John Curly being a dad, it would be Kirk Cousins.
I guess. But I could tell you firsthand, Curly's friends would not act the same way as Kirk's friends.
No. Those guys are drinking beers all night. They're not drinking Roy Rogers and going to like a barbecue place and getting one burger.
They are drinking beers and singing Irish anthems in the bar.
They're not singing Cher, even though I could get down with some "Do You Believe in Life After Love." That's a good song.
Yeah.
It's just crazy to me, like Kirk, for how like, let's be honest, how like kind of milquetoast the guy is. He knows a lot of music. So and like he was buying into the Atlantic culture and what was it? If you set up your trap, you take over your trap.
Take over your trap.
Yeah, exactly. So
take over your trap.
And man, he loves that swag surf shit, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's an Atlanta thing, but
yeah.
I don't know. It is funny how they said like he's embraced the culture, but he still goes to great clips.
Exactly.
It's really hard making $40 million a year and finding a barber. I'm like, no, it is not. That's all I was thinking in my head.
Well, but no, also, do you remember from Hard Knocks where you saw Matt Eberflus getting a nice cut in the facility?
Yeah.
You can get your hair cut at the Atlanta Falcons facility.
Yeah.
It's actually save money on that. Still make $40 million a year.
It felt like it was a sponsorship, but it wasn't. That's the crazy part about it.
I know.
It looked like a whole infomercial for Great Clips with Kirk Cousins being the spokesperson. I tried looking it up. No, he does not have a sponsorship. He just
give it time.
He just really they got him a free haircuts for life card.
Okay.
I looked that up. They gave him free haircuts for life. So he's got that sorted out, but maybe that was a play on his part. I was a Supercuts guy.
Kind of the same. Great Clips, super sports clips, great clips, all the same shit.
Look, man, for all that with Kirk.
Yeah.
He's a very stand-up individual.
Yeah.
And I think, I got a little sentimental watching the show. I'm not going to lie to you. At the end, I thought there were some good reminders in life. And you kind of alluded to it earlier. Like the one you learn from Joe Burrow really is that you don't have to just be super loud and you don't have to be all brash if you want to be a leader. Sometimes you just got to lead by example. And the other thing from him is to keep your friends and your family close, because it seems like he's really close with his people and he liked bringing his people to the game. So
yeah,
you think about that one with Jared Goff. I think the lesson learned with that is, even though in real time in life, if something happens, it may seem like the worst possible outcome and there's no path forward, but in reality, it could be the best thing to happen to you. Mm-hmm. And also to give back, that little segment where he was doing the stuff with the kids and I think like giving them some signed memorabilia and bringing them to a game, and he starts tearing up in front of them. I thought that was I was like, damn,
Yeah.
And then the other thing with the other thing with Kirk is like, shoot, if life doesn't go your way, then you really just got to be a grown up about it and do whatever you can to make the situation as good as possible for yourself. Like, I think the one thing that was going around that kind of went viral from him was his reaction to getting let go by the, or not getting let go, was them drafting Michael Penix and him saying that he was misled by the Falcons. And that's kind of what stole the headlines. But I thought the more telling thing, and I think this was kind of a headline towards the end of that season, but him immediately after he gets benched, he's down in the basement and he's calling Michael Penix Jr. and just being upfront about whatever they're both dealing with. Like, I just thought that was really commendable on his part. So I thought there was quite a few lessons that you can not learn because we know those lessons already, but just solid reminders. That's what I'd say.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think that what's that?
Just to get serious for a second.
Yeah,
you know?
why not? Why not? Yeah, I agree with all that, Stephen. I think that with Kirk, yes, the big headline, like right when the show came out, Ari Meroff and Dov Kleiman, like they all tweeted out the clip of him sitting with his wife in the backyard being like, had I known that the Falcons were going to draft Michael Penix, I could have stayed in Minnesota. Now, does he regret signing with them? Probably with the situation that's at hand currently with Michael Penix being the starting quarterback. But at the same time, who's to say that J.J. McCarthy wouldn't be the starter with the Vikings right now? I don't think there's any situation that would be great for Kirk right now between Minnesota and Atlanta. There's always going to be a younger guy to take his spot. What Kirk wanted was just an opportunity to go to basically Cleveland, a guy that he knows is Kevin Stefanski, and start there. But yeah, the truth is, and Kirk was very honest about it, it was a mix of him getting hurt in the Saints game, having his shoulder and his, I guess, really his arm get fucked with on a hit, and then he never recovered after that. So it was a mix of an injury, but also he wasn't playing well. And he said that I was not driving the ball very well, but at the same time, I was making very poor decisions. Had he been healthy, who's to say he still probably keeps that job? I really believe that the Falcons didn't want to bench him that season. I think that their full intention was to establish a season where they're division championships and build off of that, and then slowly see a decline with Kirk and then make an easy transition from him to Michael Penix. I still don't think it was a terrible move, maybe an odd move, maybe a move that Raiders fans are pissed off about because they could have got Michael Penix. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's that horrible of a move because you saw that Kirk was declining during the season, and then it was time to put Michael Penix in. And I thought Kirk was playing really well against the Buccaneers that Thursday night game, and then the game that they played in Tampa. And then the Cowboy game, he was lining it up, and then he got hurt against the Cowboys, and that's where you saw where he threw like in the span of 4 or 5 weeks. The ratio was 1 touchdown to 9 interceptions. So I understand why they did it. I remember when it happened, I was like, I want to do that with with the division on the line, going to a rookie. I wouldn't do that. And then Michael played pretty well, but in the end, it wasn't good enough for them to get into the playoffs. I still wouldn't put it out of the realm of possibility, though, that I think the Falcons really do like both quarterbacks, and they're giving the upper hand to Michael Penix right now. And if there's an opportunity to trade Kirk Cousins, they'll probably do it.
Yeah.
But if Michael Penix does not play well, I wouldn't put it past them to put Kirk Cousins in there. I think that it may be weird. I think there's a lot of job security that's in question right now between who's the GM right now? Terry Fodeno and Raheem Morris. I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if they don't make the playoffs that both guys are fired. So if Michael Penix is not, playing well, then I wouldn't be surprised if they go to Kirk. So there's an opportunity for Kirk to get his job back. I really believe that. But yeah, he handled it very well. Like, you don't see a lot of quarterbacks. I wonder, like the same situation with Derek Carr, where he was benched those last 2 games and Jarrett Stidham was going to play, and Derek didn't want to be around the team. Kirk was there. He is happy-go-lucky dude at training or at practice, just being like, I've never done scout team practice before in 10 years. And he's having a good time with it, and he's the consummate pro, and congratulating Michael Penix after a good throw, and then tell him hang in there, babe, after a poor performance. But that's just him. So I would have loved to see, like when we saw with the quarterback show and the receiver show, we saw a little bit more in the offseason. You saw Justin Jefferson get his contract. You saw Devontae Adams kind of be honest about the Raiders and what was going to happen next season. This was just Kirk like, I'm going to be open to whatever happens this upcoming season.
Yeah.
I would have liked to see his talks with the Falcons, but that probably was way too much to show for a mass audience. So that was interesting, but I think we knew that kind of Kirk Cousins was a gooper. But at the same time, I think that like, I think everybody came away when they did the first season, the quarterback show. You knew that Mahomes was incredible. You knew that Marcus Mariota didn't try very hard. You knew that Kirk Cousins was a good dude. And now you see it even more from Kirk Cousins. So, yeah, props to him. Good show. I hope they continue it next season.
He's going to be a coach, right?
Cousins, I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if he gets into television. He's actually a pretty good speaker.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. Like, dude, I was thinking you talked about it at the top, but yeah, I'd be shocked if Brock Purdy isn't on this show, or they're at least not like poking and prodding to try and get him on the show. I would not be the least bit surprised.
If you had to pick 3 guys for next season, who would you go with?
God. Oh man, probably go Brock. Might go Jordan Love. Then I'd
Gino.
No. Gino.
I think I think Gino would be interesting in a brand new city.
Gino would be a good one. Gino would be a good one. Or Herbert.
Herbert might be. You know what? I probably think the same thing of Joe Burrow. Herbert might be a little bit dull, but I'd watch it, of course.
Yeah. I think Purdy. I think Jordan Love would be interesting just because he was drafted at the same time as Rodgers.
Yeah.
I think he would be. I'm trying to think of any others. I don't know. Like, I guess Kyler Murray would be cool, but.
Yeah, I get the feeling that we would come away thinking that Kyler was a dick.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is I don't know if he wants that.
Yeah. Purdy would be great.
Lamar
would be cool. Tua would probably be down to do it.
Yeah.
But Gino would be interesting. Yeah, the first one you said, the first 3, Brock, Jordan Love, and Gino, I would be down for that.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Yeah.
There you go. Netflix, we did your job.
There you go. Very odd question here from AJ Cruz. Who wins in a fight between Curly and Baby Huey? I'm giving the advantage to Baby Huey just on size.
Okay. I've never met Baby Huey, so that's not fair for me. Dude, I'm telling you, I think I.
But also, Baby Huey knows a lot about wrestling, so he could probably put the moves on Curly.
As commendable as it is for Kirk, I do think that he could use like that screaming therapy, where you just go into the middle of nowhere and just scream like as loud as possible. I think he needs that. There's been a lot that hasn't gone his way in his career, and he's kind of just taken it in stride, and he's just, it's okay. It's okay. It's fine. I think he needs like a good scream.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he needs to start drinking. I'm not saying he needs to start taking up cigarettes. I'm not saying he needs to take the edge off any other way. I just think it would do some real good for him if he went into the middle of nowhere and just screamed.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're all human, so I'm sure when the camera was off, he probably did. But yeah, I mean, the most telling thing to me was when he was like, he was saying how everybody was telling him, man, I can't believe you're handling it so well with the benching. He was like, what other way you're supposed to handle it? I'm like, you know how other people handle it. You think Aaron Rodgers would handle it that well? No. You think Derek Carr handled it well when it happened with Josh McDaniels? No. A lot of quarterbacks go and hide because they can't take it. Kirk handled it very well. Well, and a lot of people want to tolerate this right now. Like Kirk, he didn't show up to, I think, the first day of minicamp. We'll see if he shows up at training camp. I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if he just says all the right things. It's like, yeah, I'm the backup right now. We'll see what happens. And then he may get his job back. Who knows? Mm-hmm. But yeah, other quarterbacks would demand a trade and say, get me the fuck out of here. I don't want to do this. And Kirk's like, it's in God's hand, which, I kind of respect.
Yeah.
Speaking of Kirk and of his former team, just transitioning to a different topic. You see the Commanders go back to some old school unis with the Redskins look, but not the helmets. Still going to have the Commanders on the sideline. I thought it was cool, really cool. I like those uniforms, but I This is not me like trying to sound like, I don't know even know what the word is for it, but I do not want them to go back to that. That was a time and era of being the Washington Redskins. They're not that team anymore. Even as a kid, I thought like they're really calling the team that the logo's like that, and we're all cool with this. Okay, we all just went with the flow. I even remember I wrote an article when I was in school, college, when I was in that was when I was majoring in rhetoric and writing, and I wrote a whole paper about how that team name is fucked up and how we need to change it, but we need to change it for the right reasons. At the time, everybody was talking about Robert Griffin and how a big superstar he was, and how it's crazy that a guy like him is going to be synonymous with a team called the Redskins. And I was like, well, you shouldn't do it because of that. That's not the reason to change the name. Just because a guy is becoming a superstar and it's a bad look on that part. You should change it because regardless, it's a bad look. It's a bad team name. And then they changed it when, we were 2020 and things were going on in the country, and they rightfully changed it. So yeah, I have no issue with football team, even though the Commanders sounds kind of cheesy. It's better than what it was back in the day. Mike Florio wrote a whole article on PFT about how this is one step closer to Washington going back to that, how they really want to do that, how they want to go back to being the Redskins. And there was things back in the day, a couple of years ago, or maybe just a year ago, with Dan Quinn having a shirt that kind of linked that. And how who's the owner now? I forget his name, but he was talking about how you want to honor the past. You could do all those things, but not go back to that team name. So yeah, this is just my simple way. I wanted to bring this topic up because I saw the article, and I think Florio sometimes likes to make things out of nothing. I don't think just because Washington's going back to that uniform, they're not changing the helmets. They're not having that logo back. They just went back to those color schemes. I think it looks cool, and I don't think just because they did that means that they want to go back to being called the Redskins. I don't think that they're trying to do that at all.
I don't either. And I don't know. My whole thing on it is, even though it's not like an offensive term to me specifically,
Yeah.
it is to a large group of people.
Of course.
So it's, I don't know. I just think it's just because we're football fans doesn't mean we have the right to say that it's not offensive. Like, it's the definition of gaslighting. No, it's not offensive. Like, what are you talking about? No, what are you like? Yes, it is. It can be to certain people. And if I think maybe even, I forgot how much money was spent, but there's like a lot of people who were really pissed off about this. And it was like at the height of, 2020, when you got COVID, murder of George Floyd, all those different things. So I would rather they not change it back, because I know there's like a bunch of people, a large group of people who take that as an insult, who take that name as insulting and insulting to Native Americans and all that. So I don't know. If Florio wants to say that, go ahead. It doesn't bother me. Well, okay. You're one person. Like, it bothers a lot of people, I think. So,
well, no, he's not saying that. He's in favor of keeping. So he wants it to go back to the original name.
He said he don't want it to. He just said it's trending that way, and he has no problem with it.
Yeah, I wouldn't want that. I think that you have to think about Native Americans. You have to think about people that are offended by that term. Just because I love NFL history, and I don't think you should get away from it. Like, I think that we have to acknowledge history. I think that people that want to just, take down statues and just erase history, that's not going to change anything, in my opinion. I think you have to remember history and change it for the better. So we can acknowledge what happened in the past and say, like, there was the Washington Redskins. That was their name for a good deal of time. Now they are called the Commanders because we smartened up. It's offensive to say that word. So you can say, they won 3 Super Bowls with that team name, and then they changed their name. So that's all I'm saying. And just because they changed the color scheme this year, and they're alternate uniforms to begin with, it's only going to be a select games where they do this. So Yeah, I think that Florio is kind of insinuating something that's not actually happening. I would be very surprised if the Commanders want to go back to being called the Redskins. I think that'd be a terrible PR hit to them, and I highly doubt that happens.
I agree.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to a little basketball, Steven. So on Wednesday, Devin Booker got his contract to stay with the Phoenix Suns, and he signed a 2-year, $145 million extension, which gives him 72 annually. And that was going to happen. We heard rumors of that he was going to get an extension. And, you know, the way that the NBA is going right now with their salary cap, look at the Draymond Green and how all players should be aware of what's going on with that right now. But, yeah, with Kevin Durant's contract off the books and Devin Booker being the star of the team, they have more money to, you know, give him that cash. It's just interesting to see a player like Devin Booker, who's been with the franchise for a good deal of time now. I don't know where they're going. I don't know if they're going to be championship contenders anytime soon. Probably not. And he decides to cash in and get the highest paid contract annually in sports right now. He just right now surpassed Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and he gets 72 a year. So at the same time, it being 2 years is interesting to me because that's not really a long-term commitment. It's basically the same timeline as a Steph Curry. So while this is an absorbent amount of money for Devin Booker and he's young and he's worth it, he's that good of a player, I also will say this doesn't mean shit. This also could mean that Devin Booker is not with the team in 2 years or even less than that because you could trade him after one season. He's only got 1 year left on the deal. Now it'd have to take a team that doesn't have a lot of salary cap or whatnot or second aprons and all that shit that I can't understand. But it's just interesting to me that we might see more players do this type of deal in the NBA where it's not going to be a long-term deal. Like Shea signed for 5 years. Jason Tatum signed for 6 years. The rookie contracts that just got extended for Chet Holmgren and Jalen Williams for the Thunder. You're going to see a lot of those for younger players, but for like, guys that are in their late 20s, early 30s that don't want to fully commit to a team, I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if you see more NBA players signing 2-year deals for a good amount of money.
I mean, you're already seeing it, right? The 1-and-1 is like the most popular deal in the NBA right now.
Yeah, that's true.
Devin Booker is doing something that all the superstars are doing. I mean, I think what you're saying, I think that's pretty much obvious is that it's not a long-term thing. Right. When it's 2 years, yeah, of course it's not a long-term thing. like duh.
No, but no. I know I'm saying the obvious, but when I think when people see that initially, they're like, "Whoa, $72 million a year for Devin Booker? Why the fuck is he doing that? He should get the fuck out of there."
Yeah.
Why is he doing that? Because he get paid at the same time. I won't be the least bit surprised if Devin Booker sees the team and he's like, "This isn't going the way I wanted it to." He's like, "Hey, can you guys trade me next season? You can get a bunch of capital for me." Like it's twofold where I think people just look at the number and they're like, "Wow, that's a lot for a guy that is good, really good. Is he great? Does he deserve that type of money annually now? Maybe not." And the Suns don't seem to be like competing in the West anytime soon. That's what I'm saying. Like some teams do this with players, but they're really trying to compete right now. Devin Booker's willing to get his cash, and then I'm sure in a year, if they're not panning out, be like, "All right, can you trade me to a good team or a team that can actually take on my salary?" So what I'm basically saying is I think that, yes, you're going to see more players, maybe even younger players, that just don't want to fully commit to a team. And yes, I know there's 1-on-1s where guys have the 1 year, basically a 2-year deal plus the option. But I think we're going to see it more and more now in the salary cap world where teams can't fully commit to players like that.
For sure. And it's going to, I think, give a little bit more player movement, something that we really haven't seen too much through free agency. I think we're in a weird like holding period right now. We're almost in like this state of limbo where the superstars who could be on the move, well, one of them already is, and the other one just went to the Warriors last year in February. Yeah. Like those are the two guys, Jimmy Butler and Kevin Durant. Other than that, you feel pretty certain that everyone is going to stay put where they're at. It's just the Devin. I got to be honest, like the Devin Booker contract extension, I just looked at it and said, You thought about it a lot deeper than I did.
I mean, not deeper. It was just like I saw that he makes the most money annually now of any player in professional sports. So I was like, that's a lot. But at the same time, I'm like, it means nothing really. It just means that he's tied to the team for 2 more years and he could bounce.
Is that Mr. T on Derek's
No,
shirt?
it's not. It's
No,
Cheech
it's
and Chong.
Chong. That's Mr.
Yeah.
Cheech. And
Mr. Cheech and Chong.
Mr.
By the way,
Chong.
they came out with a new documentary that I need to watch.
Ah, on what?
I don't know if it's streaming anywhere, but it's just them in the car just smoking, obviously, and talking about their lives. And
lovely.
Apparently they had a huge falling out that I wasn't aware of.
Ah, well, that's a shame.
Yeah, I know.
Hmm.
It makes me think we need all the comedy duos in history that had a falling out. We need to have a Keenan and Kel documentary. We need to have a Wayne's World, Mike Myers, Dana Carvey documentary. We need more of those.
Simon and Garfunkel.
Sure. Not really comedy duos, but yeah. Want Hall & Oates too?
Yeah, they can be funny guys.
All right, so staying on basketball, Steph Curry. I know you went last year. Are you doing any reporting work at the Tahoe? No, not this year.
No, sir.
Alrighty. So Steph Curry talked about his future and the team right now. Do you have that clip, Steven, I sent you?
Yeah, give me 1 sec.
Yeah. Of course, Steph Curry's going to be there every year. Was it the American Century Classic?
Championship.
Championship.
You had the A and C right. You just needed the other C.
I'm sorry.
Mhm.
But in the end, I was close enough. And Steph Curry was talking about his future with the Warriors, and this is what the man had to say. Let's give you time.
I'm just taking it 2 years at a time. That's all I have on my contract left. I hope to be in a situation where physically I have the choice, and it's not made for me. So I'm doing everything I can to stay limber, stay, active and do what I do at a high level. So yeah, just trying to stay in the moment, see what happens in 2 years.
Wow.
Yep. That's basically him saying, if the team is winning, I'll stick around. If they're not, then, I don't think we'll ever go to a different team. I really don't. I think that basically Steph and Steve are going to be year to year going forward when their contracts are done. Not saying I know I've always said the time frame of Steph Curry with 2 more seasons, but really he can, he could keep getting contracts. He could keep doing 1-on-1s, or he could sign for $60 million and just keep, try to, or maybe not. Maybe he'll, in this new salary cap world, the NBA, he may take less money. But yeah, I think we're going to see going forward now. This is Steve's last year under contract. This is Steph's last 2 seasons under contract. And then after that, they'll just, play it by ear. So I take him at his word. Anybody that's going to say I think that Steph may go to a different team if he thinks the Warriors aren't going to win. Nah, I think that both guys are going to stick with their teams for the remainder of their NBA careers as far as playing and coaching.
This is going to be the first time we'll hear this. I'll give you over under 18.5. How many times are we going to hear him say, I'm just taking it 2 years at a time?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah. It's just, that's the new 1 game at a time. I'm taking my future 2 years at a time.
Same thing with Steve. I think that if the season goes well, then there might be a little bit of a lull where we want to know what's going on with Steve in the offseason, and then he might give the exclusive to Tom Tolbert in his backyard, just saying, "Yeah, I'm coming back." So that's where I think that's where I think things are going.
With Lulu, Lulu, is that the dog's name?
With good old Lulu. You know that Steve named his dog Lulu too, they copied Tom.
Oh,
I know.
It's a good dog name, but come on, Steve.
Or maybe just Lou. I think Tom's dog is named Lulu, and Steve's dog's name is Lou.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I think Tom busts his balls all the time, being like, "You couldn't come up with an original name."
He should.
Yeah, as he should.
He should.
And then Mike Dunleavy. Oh, by the way, which was Steph. He also talked about the potential of Al Horford coming to the team, and he was vague, but basically kind of insinuated.
No, Steph was vague. No way.
Basically just said, yeah, he'd be a great fit. I will talk about that more once it happens, which everyone was like, well, okay, it's going to happen then.
Can I be honest?
Yeah, go for it.
There's been a lot made of Steph potentially going into broadcasting because of the whole CNBC feature that they did. And then Dell ended up getting hired by Prime Video. So
yeah,
there's a whole
that's awesome.
There's a whole thing with Prime Video potentially being at the front of the line for Steph. I got to be honest. I'm not really like looking. How do I say this politely? I'm not really looking forward to Steph in his broadcasting career. Like I don't listen to Steph talk and think, man, I can't wait till he's on TV later. Like I'm not going to lie to you. I don't sit there like eager to hear his post game and what he's got to say. I think he's funny. I think he's funny when he's in like a natural situation, and maybe he'll be a lot better in that. But I think he's like a master at just not saying anything while saying a lot of words during the press conferences.
I'm with you on that. I don't think that Steph would ever be on a game broadcast. I think he could be in the studio probably.
Maybe. Yeah.
But
maybe.
even then, I think that Steph's going to be like an entrepreneur where.
Yeah, he's got so much other stuff.
Yeah, I really don't see him being a TV guy.
Yeah, I never thought of him in that role.
I mean, he loves basketball, but I don't think he loves it to the point where he's like Tom Brady, where he has to be around the game like that. Like he wants to be an owner. So I don't think Steph's going to go to TV.
Yeah,
I can't see that. I can see LeBron doing it and being really bad at it. I
can see LeBron being really good at it. What do you mean?
Anytime those guys do that, like even Brady right now, like it's always
this is what I would have done.
Exactly. Like same thing with coaching. Like those guys can never these players today will never be you. So you can't compare yourself to that.
It's like in quarterback where he's saying, I would love to play in this Detroit Lions offense.
Yeah, then Jared's like, he's being funny, but also he's like, fuck you, Tom.
Yeah.
I'm sure like he's like, he knows that Ben Johnson and him are chummy. So he's like, nah, you're not coming out of retirement to steal my job. I'm the quarterback of the Lions.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, to your point though, with the NBC announcement when it comes to the NBA, Eric Collins, the play-by-play voice of the Hornets, dude, he's awesome. So he will be electric with Del Curry because they're a broadcast duo right now on the local broadcast for the Hornets.
Correct.
They're not leaving that, right?
No, they're still doing it.
Gotcha. And then I also saw, I guess Brent Barry left his job in the front office with the Spurs. He's going to go back to broadcasting. I always thought Brent Barry was awesome on TV. And when he left, I was like, that's one of the few analysts that was really good that we lost.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. They got a really good team over there.
They do. And Michael Jordan's going to be on the pregame show. And as I just said, I think he's probably going to be terrible at it. Not terrible, but it's like, what can Michael say? Like, he's awesome. Like, people are going to watch for him, obviously, but it's like, it's just hard when these great players go into broadcasting because they expect everybody to be like them, and they're not going to be like them.
I agree. I agree.
All right, you wanted to discuss Draymond and his whole, I guess, diatribe about NBA free agency that he went on like a whole rant on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm just like trying to figure out like what he's mad at. Is he mad at the players? Is he mad at the CBA? Yeah, like I'm just very confused. So here's what he said on, I think, Threads actually. Said, "Dear Diary, sitting in my man cave having a conversation with my wife. Cool. Baffled at the fact that NBA free agency is over. Quite frankly, it never really started. The level of anticipation leading up to July 1st were as exciting as the fireworks on July 4th. It was the excitement of the NBA Finals, yet only a week after watching a team spray champagne and ride on floats. One can only point to the new CBA in the second apron for absolutely putting an end to free agency as we once knew it. Sadly, I sit here." Okay, so he is saying that one can point to that, but then he says, "Sadly, I sit here and watch so many players overplay in the market and not understand what they're up to and against with the new rules, or what they're up against with the new rules, which leads me to try to understand the unstaggering percentage of guys that has no idea of the business they are a part of. And as a vet in this league, watch players mismanage their careers, and before they know it, look back like, damn, where to next? I can go so far with this, but I really don't feel like typing it all right now because there's so many arms to this topic, an insane amount. And then add in my personal experience with it, blah, 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 blah. He's got a lot of friends. Maybe I'll write some long piece, or maybe I'll just do a podcast. LOL. That's the most millennial thing, by the way.
Yeah.
That is the mark of millennial, is ending a sentence with LOL, punctuating it with LOL. I do that all the time. But regardless of where I decided to let these thoughts out, I should have been the Players Association president. LOL. I could have helped a lot. The league is great. It's been great to all of us. Amazing partnership amongst players, staff, front office, ownership, and fans that make the well-oiled machine soar, and rightfully so. But it's baffling to me how little players know about this business and how it affects them in ways most don't understand. Funny thing is, I said this before the last CBA, kind of beating a dead horse, I suppose, LOL. And also before y'all run and make this about JK, it isn't. He's 22 and will be great and make a bunch of money, so this ain't got nothing to do with him.
But it does.
But it does.
It does indirectly. Like, he's not talking about Jonathan Kuminga, but Jonathan Kuminga's part of this. So, yeah, I hear Draymond. Like, a lot of players should be more knowledgeable on this stuff, but they're young guys. And also, if you're expecting fireworks with this free agency class, I'm sorry, but like there wasn't a lot of big names.
Yeah.
Like there's LeBron, with now the latest is like he's not calling DeAndre Ayton because he doesn't, I guess, I don't know. I don't even know if he doesn't even like him or if he doesn't think he fits with the team, but he's taking it as an insult of like, well, they didn't consult me that he should be a part of the team. Who cares? You shouldn't have opted in then, LeBron. Like, sorry. Regardless, the whole thing with Draymond and free agency is this is the new CBA and this is the way it is. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, you probably should do a podcast on this, and don't expect Baron Davis to be as knowledgeable as you on this topic.
Hey, what do you mean?
Yes.
What are you talking about, new CBA? What do you mean?
You saying these guys? What's second apron, man?
Hey, they got
I got aprons in my kitchen, man. I don't know what you,
bro. Why you got aprons in there, bro? You don't need an apron, bro.
We playing basketball, right? We're not cooking up a souffle.
Oh man, I really hate doing that, but I think he does not add much whenever I hear it.
I don't mind doing it. I don't mind doing it.
I do. I don't. Yeah, I mean, it's Baron Davis, man. I mean, he's not doing anyone any harm, and he was just asked to do the podcast. But like, there are some contributions where it feels like that's what he says.
Yeah, basically. I mean, that was an accurate impression, I think, by us, where it's like you could have had the producer that was doing the show with Draymond before, and you would have got the same thing. Yeah. Maybe even more insightful stuff.
I think, well, he does, to give him credit, he does like bring some insight as to what it's like as far as just being in the locker room and how guys react in different things. But there are some clips where it's like Draymond's doing a lot of the talking, and it's like, dude, give him something to bounce off of. You know? Don't just let him talk and agree. Like, you know, give him something.
I know.
Yeah, but I don't know. I guess my whole thing with free agency, and sure, it's been slow and all that, but and I get it that people love the sport and they want to love it year round, but this is the off season. Like, if free agency was slow, okay, like this is what happens. It's fine. It's just a slow free agent. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the sport. Quite frankly, the lack of movement is not so much from the big name players, but from the mid-level players who might help teams contend for a championship. But overall, there's a few moves here and there. I guess they just weren't there. There just wasn't one every day. It kind of front loaded, I guess. There was a lot at the beginning, and then it kind of just petered out.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that if you were expecting like fireworks, there was a few big trades, but you know, if you were expecting people are expecting Giannis to get traded, and then there's something that's going to happen now.
LOL.
Exactly. And with Kuminga, Mike Dunleavy talked about him during the summer league game. We don't need to play the clip, Steven, but basically it was just generic. Well, we can if you want to, but it was nothing really there. It's just he's talking him up, and that's basically what's going to happen right now. Is he's going to end up back on the Warriors? But yeah, we can play it.
All right, let's play it. Come on, why not?
All right, fine. Here we go.
Fun.
All right, here we go. Pointless audio from Mike Dunleavy.
Whitework, Kerr didn't love the Jonathan Kuminga, Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green minutes. But when Steph did get hurt, Kuminga stepped up and played great in that Minnesota series. What did you appreciate about the way Kuminga handled himself in that moment?
Yeah, you know what? It was a tricky situation when Jimmy arrived. Jonathan was out. You know, had a sprained ankle, missed a bunch of time. So as everybody was getting acclimated with Jimmy, JK was in the lineup. And then he had to come back. And we had this great run, and he had to sort of figure it out. And I think it was a little challenging for him and the team, but when Steph went down, he stepped up, and that was admirable from JK's standpoint. It's a big reason why I want to bring it back.
Oof. All right, why do you say oof?
I don't know. You're just stirring it up by saying that's the reason I want to bring him back.
Yeah, but that's that's being a good GM where you're talking him up where now other teams will be like, oh, interesting. You like him that much, eh? Even though there's nothing out there. Like we talked about the Kings and their shitty offer, and I don't think anything's going to materialize out of that. I don't think that anybody's giving him a worthwhile contract. If the qualifying offer was 7.9 to keep Jonathan Kuminga, I don't think anybody's going over 10 or 15 at this point. So we've been over it. The latest from what's his name, Brett Siegel, who's pretty much turning into he's with Clutch Sports or Clutch Points. He's basically at the Ari Meroff now of the NBA.
Yeah.
He's saying that Jonathan Kuminga most likely will sign back with the intention of hopefully being traded at the trade deadline. But who knows? If someone gets hurt, then he may need to stick on the team. So I don't know. I think that he's going to talk to a bunch of teams during Summer League. They're going to tell him the same thing. We like you, but we're not going to overpay for you. So he's just going to stick it out with the Warriors, and that's going to be the end of it. And anything the Warriors do, I know I'm going to say this until something actually happens, but Al Horford, DeAnthony Melton, Damian Lillard, bringing back Jonathan Kuminga. Cool. These are all good moves. Does it catapult them to, being number one in the West and being a better team on paper than the Thunder or the Rockets or the Timberwolves or the Nuggets? No. I don't think there's anything they could do, honestly, that will do that.
I think it's sad. But Derek, it feels like we've been talking about this for 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that's changed.
Yeah.
Like there's been a little thing here and there. I don't know. Okay. There's been a trade package. Great. But at the end of the day, what happened, what we predicted as soon as we knew that he was going to be a restricted free agent, they gave him the qualifying offer, whatever it was, like he was probably going to re-sign with the Warriors. This is what we predicted. Mm-hmm. He was probably not going to get the $25 to $30 million a year that he wants because he just hasn't played much. And whether you want to blame that on the Warriors or not, whatever, that's your prerogative. Yeah. But he was probably going to get traded, he was going to get re-signed and then probably traded at the deadline because that's when teams are more willing to trade for a player because they'll have more needs at that time. And a guy like Jonathan Kuminga is going to be very valuable. And I say, I'm going to repeat it again. I'm going to give you the Steph, taking it 2 years at a time. I'm going to repeat it again. They botched this when they didn't trade him when they could have.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to stand on that. Like, that's just it's going to sound like a broken record. It's going to constantly sound like I'm going back and forth, but I don't know any other way I'm supposed to look at it other than like, hey, you knew you weren't going to give him an extension. Why didn't you just trade him before he was eligible so that he could go somewhere else and try and prove his worth? And I'm not saying that in that, like, it's Kuminga's fault necessarily. Again, I think Kuminga can be a really good player, but we felt like we've seen the writing on the wall as if this is the movie Seven for a long, long time. It's been, hey, Kuminga doesn't really fit with this team. Trading him, I don't know if we should do that. Well, you know what? You got to make some hard decisions. And I think they just didn't make the tough decision. And now I think it's coming back to bite them because what it sounds like with the Horford and Melton's thing is they have guys they want to get. Yep. They have deals almost in place essentially. And they just want to sign the dotted line, but they have to wait for one guy first. They have to wait for one. And that's Jonathan. And it's just creating a whole headache that is really unnecessary, I think, for this summer.
I agree, and I think that with Horford, though, they can sign him right now if they wanted to, but Horford is taking a sweet time that he actually may retire. And if I was Al Horford, I don't blame him for doing that because he's 39 years old. You're trying to ring chase with the Warriors at this point, and you don't even know if they're going to make it to the finals with how old that roster is right now. You make them even older. You just got a ring with the Boston Celtics. Does it make sense? If I was him, I would retire, but I would also love for him to be on the team. D'Anthony Melton, we never saw really because he was there for 7 games, then tore his ACL. So I'd sign him back easily, and he was playing really well with the Warriors. But yeah, Jonathan Kuminga has prevented them from doing a lot of things. So I agree with you, Steven. They should have traded him a long time ago, but this is this is Joe Lacob really just, kind of meddling a little bit as an owner. And I'm this is me totally speculating, but at the same time, I'm sure he was like, no, I like JK. I want him on the team. And Steve's like, there's no place for him at this point, Joe.
Yeah.
So I don't know. He'll probably come back for a 1-year deal or whatever it is. And they may trade him at the deadline. They may need him. Who knows? But yeah, the inevitable is going to happen. He's going to come back to the Warriors. And hopefully when they meet at Summer League, all I ask is Steve Kerr and Jonathan Kuminga just hash this out where there's no more awkwardness, where he knows his role and Steve could be a little more accommodating to what he wants to do, but both men have to be reasonable at the end of the day.
Yes.
Yes. All right, let's finish this up with a little Jackass of the Week and pop culture catch-up. Do you want to go first, Steven, for Jackass of the Week?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, what you got?
This maybe seemed like an obvious one, but RG3, Robert Griffin III.
Okay.
What are you doing? Have you not seen this?
I have. Let me hear your perspective, then I'll give mine.
Well, it's just this whole thing where he's trying to be this philosophizer, this voice of reason that comes between the Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark stuff. And then it's just non-stop. And it's really at the point, and it's been at the point for a long, long time where it's frustrating to talk about, it's tiring to talk about, or it's tiring to see. And when I read RG3 writing in a tweet something about, I can't even remember the context of it, but adding in the tweet, it's like talking about how we need to come together or something like that. And we need to band together as people and, unify, whatever. And then he brings up something about how people close to Angel Reese have told him that she hates Caitlin Clark, blah, blah, blah. I got to get the full context of it. I got to bring up the tweet. I don't have it ready right now. Maybe I should have gone second. But it's just this whole thing where he's trying to be this person on social media, and it just keeps biting him in the ass time after time. Like, just don't post. Just don't post. That's it. So for posting and doing it in a way where you're furthering this conversation and making it even worse, and just acting like there's a certain section of people who are using race in this conversation, like acting like it's not really happening. Like, Jackass of the Week in my book.
I hear you. I think that his heart was in the right place. And again, I'm not gonna like I know everything with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, but what started this whole thing was Angel Reese is going to be on the cover of NBA 2K, correct?
Yes.
And someone photoshopped a monkey over her, and that's stupid and fucking ugly and racist. And Robert Griffin was trying to say this is fucking terrible that they're doing this. At the same time, yeah, he's making it about himself. That's the part where I would make it like, he's being a jackass. Yeah, you're more knowledgeable of this stuff than I am, Steven, so I'll give you credit if Robert Griffin's acting like a jackass. I know in the past there was the whole thing about him saying that Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark, and that led to a whole thing with him and Ryan Clark that got really ugly, in my opinion. At the end of the day, I think he was trying to defend Angel Reese in the situation where someone was being racist towards her. But yeah, at the same time, yeah, he's making it about himself. So for that reason, yeah, I guess the Jackass of the Week is appropriate.
Also, I think Martin Luther King's daughter called him out on Twitter too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah.
And just the fact that, so what's Robert Griffin's stance on this? Is just that Angel Reese is just going out of her way to hate Caitlin Clark?
Yeah, something along those lines. It's just so bizarre, dude.
Well, I can't say that I've really been, interested in this whole thing, but there seems to be something going on there between both girls. I don't know. I really don't have a strong opinion about it, but I don't know. I don't really know what the right thing to say is, because I understand both point of views, but yeah, I think there's animosity from both sides, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, The heart's in the right place. You're right. The heart is in the right place because he responded to that 2K cover.
Right.
But just to say, I've stated and backed up with clear evidence that Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark. Like, just stop posting, dude.
Yeah, I know.
Stop.
Well, that's the part where I'm like, what does Robert Griffin want to be? Does he want to be the social media guy that comments on everything, or does he want to be a football analyst?
Yeah.
And I did not mind him as a college football analyst. I thought that he was cheesy at times with some of the stuff he said during the broadcast, but for the most part, he was a good speaker and he analyzed the game pretty well. But then when he would do these TikToks and then try to get all preachy, like this is a safe space on Twitter, say what you want to say. I'm like, what are you trying to be, dude? Like, do you want to be a football analyst or do you want to be some viral social media guy?
Yeah.
So that's where I think he annoys people.
Yeah. He's just engagement farming, man. And just anyone who does that, you're a jackass of the week, especially with this, the most popular topic out there.
Yep. Okay, my jackass of the week is, I forgot his name, but it was the guy. He's a KC radio host.
Who's my guy?
Who's my guy? Kevin Kitzman.
Yep.
Who is a KC radio host. And I know that Raider fans listen to our podcast and 49er fans listen to our podcast and they don't like Mahomes, but this was stupid. Just a really dumbass take. So this is him on his podcast talking about how Patrick Mahomes is fat.
Vacation photos are popping up of Patrick Mahomes and he's fat. I'm going to say it and I'm going to tell you the truth. That's why you hit the play button. He's an embarrassment. You're a $500 million quarterback. You've made all these comments in the offseason that we're going to do our talking on the field. We got our butts kicked in the Super Bowl. We're coming back with a vengeance. Dude, you're fat. Your belly would be fat at my pool, hanging out with us, 60-year-olds, okay? My skin's flabbier than yours. I get it. Stop. Stop the fast food. Do a sit-up. Do something. Yeah, I'm sure he's worked out and strengthened his arm and he's done all kinds of different things, quarterback things, but there's no training to this man. I don't understand it. He's not a kid anymore. You can't just run through your NFL career eating Taco Bell all the time.
Hang on. Hang on.
Yeah.
Do we need to continue?
It's only about a minute left.
Okay.
And door dashing fried chicken, which he loves, from that one place over in Leawood where he gets it all the time. It's time, dude. It's time. And this going to camp and getting in shape is like 1970s baseball. Nobody does that anymore. That's not how it works at the highest level. But it is the start, and it is time. And I can't believe he was on vacation with his family, and he's done nothing. I can report. If you haven't seen the picture, I'm just reporting to you right now. He's done nothing but eat and drink this offseason. That's done. There's no question. No debate on that one. But he's been known to come to camp and lose some weight. I'm sure he will at camp. They got nutritionists. They'll, if he asks, monitor my food, prep my meals, get this thing just right. Let's go lose 15 pounds, whatever it is. I just don't understand it. I just don't.
Jesus.
All right. What was the point you wanted to make during that, Stephen?
I mean, I can't stand when radio hosts do that. It's like using your own insecurities so that you could take it out on some guy who's a public figure. Is he the prototypical body that you'd want? No, but quite frankly, he looks just like any quarterback out there.
Seriously. Do you mind pulling up the photo in question? It's on there. If you just type in Patrick Mahomes on a boat.
Mahomes fat?
He doesn't look fat. I'm sorry. Like, he doesn't look fat. Like, there's other photos you can say maybe he looks a little pudgy. He doesn't look fat on this photo. I don't know what the fuck this guy's talking about. Like, I'm not gonna like call out any other quarterbacks, like body shame them, but like you watch, there's photos of Mac Jones from back in the day, and not to say like he's a great quarterback by any means, but like even Jared Goff, like during the quarterback show, that photo right there, that's not fat. I'm sorry, like that doesn't look fat to me. And
Mhm.
even like and so like he's a quarterback. They're not really supposed to be like anybody that like I remember back in the day, like man, Colin Kaepernick with his shirt off. That's incredible. So what? That doesn't mean shit. When you're a quarterback, all you gotta do is throw well. You ever seen Peyton Manning without his shirt on?
Yeah.
It looks terrible.
Everyone wanted 49er fans wanted Justin Fields after the pro day because he had his shirt off and looked like he was, sculpted in as a superhero, sculpted from the gods. And
Exactly.
I'm just like, it's not everything, but all right. Yeah, stick up for those with the dad bods, man.
There you go. Like if you back in the day when you went to training camp and you saw Javon Kinlaw with his shirt off, that's what you want to see in a defensive lineman. That's what you want to see in a linebacker. That's what you want to see in wide receivers, running backs. Pretty much every position besides quarterback and offensive line, you want to see guys that are in shape. Who gives a fuck if a guy's in shape when it comes to quarterback? As long as he can rip the ball. As long as you're not who was my guy back in the day? Rest in peace. Jerry Lorenzen, the Pillsbury throw boy. As long as you don't look like him, you're fine. This is a dumbass take. And Patrick Mahomes is not fat by any means. This is just a stupid ass take this guy has in the middle of July.
It's also like it's acting like Mahomes is some scrub.
Yeah, I know.
Mahomes just became the first quarterback ever to lead his team who won back-to-back Super Bowls to the Super Bowl again, like the youngest to ever do it. And he has revitalized Kansas City. I'm also sure he's I'm also sure he's a charitable guy who tries to work with the community and do a bunch of different things. Mahomes seems like a good guy. Like, what did he do to hurt this Kansas City radio host?
Who hurt you?
Seriously, like,
I know.
what are you offended by?
See?
It just comes off as spoiled sports fan, man.
I know. And for the record, Lauren F thinks that dad bods are hot.
There you go.
See?
Mm-hmm.
This guy.
I agree.
Yeah. And, by all means, he's not fat. So, like, I don't know. It was just a dumbass take. And, like, a lot of people are coming after this guy, being like, he's said worse shit in the past. I think Nick Wright's been like, this guy's a clown from the get-go. So,
yeah.
It's a lazy-ass take. So, yeah. Jackass of the week.
100%.
There you go.
With you. I saw you shared that to me, so I would have used that earlier. I tweeted about that guy earlier. It's like you gotta be real bold. We're at that point now where it's just, hey, superstar X is fat. Let's talk about it.
Seriously. All right, yeah, that was a just ridiculous take. Pop culture catch up. If you watched anything, Steven.
No, not besides the quarterback show. It's all about the quarterback show this past week.
Yeah, same with me. I haven't really watched any shows. I finished season 4 of The Bear. Really good. Really, I know a lot of people criticize that show for saying like it's nothing really going on. It's boring at times. People really didn't like. I'm not giving any spoilers away, but people didn't like the episode with Sydney, where it focused on her like hanging out with her cousin, getting her hair done.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically every episode. It's something like them just talking about life and nothing really happens, but you kind of feel for them. So it's not for everybody. It's like, even though it's a very popular show, it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
So if you don't like it at this point, it's in its 4th season. You don't need to watch it. I like where the show's going. It probably will only last one more season if I had to guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I really enjoy it. Trying to think of anything else I've watched.
We're talking about pop culture. I mean, I haven't really watched anything, but I've been listening to a lot of Amy Poehler's podcast.
Oh, what's that one called?
Good Hang.
Yeah, Andy Samberg was on the latest one, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. There's been a lot of good ones. I just wrapped up the Will Forte one. Andy Samberg was hilarious. Just a good listen. I highly recommend it. Though it's part of Bill Simmons' Ringer network. And I think Simmons, I'm going to call him by his last name, does the thing where he refers to Saturday Night Live people by their last name.
And you hate that.
I don't like that.
Why do you hate that so much?
You weren't on the show. You're not allowed to call Rachel Dratch Dratch. You call her Rachel Dratch. You're not allowed to call Amy Poehler, although she's kind of your employee now. You're not allowed to call Tina Fey Faye. you're not allowed to call Seth Meyers Myers. It's reserved for people who are on the show.
Well, yeah, when he does it, I'm sure that's annoying. But you did that to me the other day when I was texting you about somebody, and you were like, "Oh, speaking like somebody that was on SNL, huh?"
Yeah. Is Sandler in it? Like you've been in Grown Ups before?
But that's how that's how Sandler, like people call him Sandler or Sandman. I'm not gonna call him Sandman because I think that nickname's stupid.
He is Adam
But-
Sandler to you.
Can I just okay? Like you hate when I do that. We hate when I do that with rappers. Like, can I just call Method Man Meth, or Luda,
Meth?
or Ludacris Luda?
Oh, Meth? I mean, you could call Ludacris Luda, but not Meth. It's Method Man.
Okay, but we call Ice Cube Cube.
I call him Ice Cube or Ice. Well, you can't really say ice now. That has a negative connotation to it.
Yeah, man. But I met him twice now. We're on a first name basis.
Oh, yeah. Except Cube's his second name.
Well, I really call him O'Shea.
You call him O'Shea. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
And he
cool.
respects that.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure he does.
You haven't watched anything else? I watched Burn After Reading the other night. Still,
Hell yeah.
Love that movie. That
So
movie,
good.
so clever and simple, and the cursing might be the funniest parts of that movie. Where George Clooney, like the scene, I won't spoil it for anybody that hasn't seen it, but like there's a scene where something happens, big like plot twist in the movie or big turning point in the movie where he just goes, "Oh my fuck, oh fuck," and it's just funny. John Malkovich is hilarious. Like the way people curse in that movie is just so well done.
Mhm.
Yeah, highly recommend that. That's on Netflix right now, and I'm probably gonna check out Superman or Jurassic Park with my mom the next couple days here. So maybe I'll do that next time.
You mean super woke?
Yeah, apparently.
It's super woke, man.
Yeah. What's his
He's an
name?
immigrant. He has MS-13 all tattooed all over himself.
Yeah, apparently Dean Cain not a fan of the new Superman.
Oh God, that was so.
And
They're trying to make him out to be some immigrant, even though in his show people are showing clips where they are literally trying to get him to comment on his immigration status.
It's just a superhero movie, people.
You know what I watched was Idiocracy. I watched that a little bit ago.
It's
And
too real for me.
Even though like it's so absurd, I don't think Mike Judge had the idea that, holding a boxing match outside of the White House or having our crops be what's the word I'm looking for? I guess cultivated with a sports drink, instead of water, and just getting rid of it, having trash pile up everywhere. It's so sad that movie has any reality to it. And I know that those are just the surface level things and there's a much deeper meaning, but the fact that some of the surface level things that happen in that movie, you could compare it to what's happening now. It is insane.
Yeah. Yep. It's turning in that direction. Yeah. The whole thing with Rosie O'Donnell today. You see that?
No, what happened?
Oh yeah. He went in on her.
Who did?
And
Trump?
Yeah, and I'm not even like a Rosie O'Donnell fan, but like really like that's like old news. Like that's like before he became president, where he went on Rosie O'Donnell. Like who gives a fuck?
Yeah, I didn't like League of Their Own.
Yeah, I remember like a long time ago, like when I was in college, like 15 years ago, he was like, Rosie, she's got a beautiful girlfriend. I can steal her in an instant if she met me. It's like, yeah, that's funny 15 years ago when he's doing The Apprentice. Now it's like, dude, you're the president. Who gives a fuck?
Harriet the Spy, not a great spy.
Rest in peace.
Oh
yeah.
Jeez, I forgot
I
Michelle
know.
Trachtenberg died. Damn.
I know. People seem to go crazy over this new Clips album though. I haven't listened to it yet.
I've listened to a couple of songs. I mean,
Good?
it's awesome. No, the production's so sick. I've
Are
never.
the Neptunes on it?
No, it's just Pharrell. Pharrell produced the whole thing.
Okay. Oh, good.
Someone said it's as if Pharrell produced it with, at the end of each track, Chad said, "You know what? I could do it better than that," and then he goes and reproduces it again. Like it's that good. But I got to be honest. Like I've never been like the biggest Pusha T fan. I think he's good. I think he's great, but I don't know. I've just never been like I love Clips too, but I've just never thought that he was like, I don't know. Every time I've thought about like greatest rappers of all time, and I think of like my top 10, I've never really put Pusha T in there.
Pusha T's good. He came out with that album a couple of years ago that was pretty sick. The one that
you know, he's great. I'm not saying he's like not any good and doesn't deserve all the praise. It's just I almost think we love the idea of Pusha T more than we love Pusha T. I could be wrong.
No, I think he's solid.
I think he's good. I just don't. I've never like thought, wow, damn, he's great. I don't know.
I wouldn't say he's great. I thought the beef he had with Drake was pretty real a couple years ago.
Kind of wild.
Yep. And I just never thought like Clips back in the day, dude. I remember, God, I was in 6th grade, and that simple beat of grinding, just like it was awesome. That whole album was great. I just never thought that he and his brother would reunite to make another album. And then Justin Bieber came out with like a fucking like a parental advisory album.
Swag.
Is it him rapping, or is it him like singing with rappers? Or
I don't know. I haven't listened to it.
Yeah, I know. Like I saw people go crazy over it, and I was like, okay, kind of interesting timing. Did he gets off of the charge, and then Bieber comes out with an album? Just saying.
I don't know.
Anyway, all right, that's all I got. Steven, you got anything else?
I got nothing, man.
Yeah, 415 Rage Leader. We're still here? Yeah, Loader.
No, I said we still here. He's like, we
okay.
still here.
Okay, all right.
Not like we're still here.
Okay, sure.
Easy there, David. See, calling your last name, David. Imagine you called him Larry David, but you called him David. Hey, what's going on, David?
Oh, by the way, did you see that? Larry David's coming out with like an HBO show where he's going to do sketch comedy with Barack Obama.
Tremendous.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Sorry, 415 Rage Leader. I thought you were somebody else.
Oh.
Or maybe they meant to have the question mark at the end here. Either way, thank you for being in the chat. All right, everybody, that's gonna be it for tonight. Or night by me, at mid-afternoon for you guys. To everybody in the chat, to AJ Cruz, to 415 Rage Leader, to Tacky, to Rocka New Era, and thank you for the humidor, Rocka New Era. I'm putting it to good use, even though I haven't been really good about smoking the cigar during the podcast. I guess I'll have to light this up again. To I think I said Tacky, to Lauren F. Thank you for coming in the chat tonight, or afternoon. Thank you to is that everybody? Let me see if anybody else is in this chat tonight. Pat H, who was at the patio yesterday, saying he missed me, but loves a little Larry Krueger action. But everybody, that's going to be it for tonight. We are going to be back on Wednesday, if that's good for you, Steven.
I think it is.
Cool. Yeah, we'll All-Star games on Tuesday, home run derbies on Monday, and maybe we'll play a little bit of Shane Gillis's monologue before we or during the show for the ESPYs. See if he actually goes in on these hosts or these athletes.
Hell yeah.
All right, everybody. We will see you on Wednesday. Until then, Steven, say what you always say.
It's just our opinion, man.